Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Love and Marriage Huntsville, season 5B, episode 25. I do appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video. Also, share it. Subscribe to my channel if you are new. Welcome back to every subscriber and every returning viewer. And if you're a returning viewer and not have subscribed, what is the issue? Go on and hit that button up there. All right. And also leave your comments on the episode and also my commentary if you feel the need to do so. All right. So I do want to say shout out to Mr. CarlosKing, Kingdom Rate Entertainment, and to the whole cast. Let's get into it because it's to be continued from last week. We are meeting the Fletchers. And there's a lot of issues within the family. We get to actually see this family dynamic, and I'm glad that we do. We needed something fresh to add, and I love it. We get to see a whole new family, how they're reacting to each other, what's really going on there. Before, we just known as Nell and Chris to be counselors to other people, and now we get to see what's going on in their home. So let's do it. So they're on the subject of Chris Jr. still owing a lot of money and not being really responsible. At this point, Nell is pretty fed up because it's like, we keep helping you guys and we don't really see anything benefiting from it. Y'all don't really learn from it because you guys really think that you can keep coming to us even in trouble. And I think that their message is, we want you guys to come to us, but why are we still dealing with some of the things that you are doing at your big age? Chris was trying to say that he gave a portion of money, but it's not even the portion. Why don't you give the whole total back, sir? About other responsibilities, Lance, which is his brother, I think that is Nell's child. I think it is. He was saying, well, I even hired you to be a part of our business, and I had to know that I could not give you special favoritism and you had to be fired because you weren't doing your job. And Chris says, well, there's even a part where you didn't even pay me. And Lance says that he doesn't think that he owes you. He owes him. I guess Chris is saying, well, I did this while I was still there and I didn't get paid for it. But for the other times that you've been lazy, sitting out, I guess Lance just feels like it was even and you needed to go. All of a sudden, Lexi tries to, I guess, defend Chris a little bit. She gets a lash in from Nell. Nobody's talking to you. Next thing you know, Lexi says that she wasn't treated like the other children. The other children said, oh, okay, blah, 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 blah. She brings up this car. And I guess this has been a recurring story or complaint from Lexi that Lexi won't move on from, according to the Fletchers, as far as Chris and Nell. She said that she got this old car while y'all was getting like Mercedes and Benz and all that good stuff. I didn't get that. And Chris said, well, you got one a couple of months later, a good car. And then Lexi was trying to say that she got into this accident, and I guess from that money, she was able to pay to get the car that she really wanted. But she also claims that she has not been invited to certain things. What about when y'all went to did something with your employees? Nell says that was specifically for the employees. It wasn't for my children. That's not it. There's this back and forth of other vacations. I don't really talk to you guys. I haven't even talked to you guys since November. I don't know what time this was filmed, but obviously it had been some time. But it's kind of the same show. I know a lot of people are like, well, she's just being disrespectful, because at the end of the conversation, she really got heated and said, I'm really done with y'all and I can't take all this ish. And she starts cussing. And of course, a lot of older people on the timeline were like, oh, she shouldn't be disrespectful. She should have been out of the house. Da, 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 da. It's always the child's fault. I don't know. Because there's something there that nobody's really tapped into. I think that they've tried to talk, but not really get to the issue. And they're trying to handle it on their own. And you really need an outside party. So her and her husband, I forgot what his name is, but he sat there quiet. I'm glad you didn't try to intrude, because I think it would have been a very bad. One of the other children, well, both of them, the cousin, the niece daughter chimed in. They all feel like Lexi wants to be the victim in all this. At this point, children need to be heard. I'm not saying that some of them aren't on some BS. Let them be heard. And there may be some errors there. There may be some unresolved ish that they need to get out, that you're just not really you're not able to see as far as errors and wrongdoing or not. I don't know. So anyways, Lexi and her husband, they get up and leave. Chris goes outside. They're already in the car about to leave, but Chris flags them down. They talk for a few minutes, and it's about the car. Lexi doesn't feel like that they were really there for her. It got to the point where it was like she says that she didn't really get help until she was like 28, and that pissed off Chris, and he started cussing and all that. Get the F on, da 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 da, and he leaves it right there because he's saying that is ridiculous. I don't know what all the truth is. I mean, we're just meeting them, so there's something there. There is something there that Lexi needs, and I'm not going to try to figure it out because I've only seen them on my screen for probably a total of 15, maybe 20 minutes. So maybe as time goes on, welcome the Fletchers because you got something else to really be interested in. We move on to Courtney and Stormy. Stormy's going to invite Kiki and Tiffany to the house to see if they can really hash everything. Up to the interview that Tiffany did with Carlos with the King, it wasn't really personal as far as what Stormy is saying. Even that one wasn't really. I'm sorry, I'm not understanding it. Those type of interviews, you're going to be shady. Kiki, you had your time to be shady on there too. I don't even know what you said on there. Again, this was taped and aired after the whole etiquette tea thing where Kiki said what she said about at least she knows who her daddy is. I don't understand why people can't be shady. I don't understand why somebody's just gonna be nice to you. So whatever. I don't see what they see because Stormy is. I'll leave it alone for now. Anyways, Courtney's like, oh, they're gonna be here. Oh, I don't want nothing to happen up in here. You better not have any wine because she was thinking about giving them shots so they could be inebriated. Then they can really say whatever they need to say off their chest. But you already described that Kiki is kind of the no nonsense and is ready to fight a beat. And you try to describe Tiffany as a Karen. I know a lot of y'all gonna say that because she light skinned, but be truthful and honest. Is Tiffany a Karen? Because if that's the case, then why did Nell go back to her husband and saying that Martell was getting loud with her? And now Chris got to talk to him about that. Are you going to call her a Karen too? Just asking. So they talk a little bit about Canvas Beauty because at this point it's Canvas 2.0. They talked about the ebbs and the flows, and she just can't believe that she actually made it out of what she made it through with all the snakes that have been in the grass, forging her signatures. It's a miracle that the business has survived. Courtney says that he hired Junior back, and it was a surprise to Stormy. Stormy's like, you really want him back? Are you sure that this is the right thing to do? That's my cousin anyways. But, Courtney feels like Junior has learned his lesson, and he's here to do what needs to be done. We even see flashback footage, I guess, that's already taken place. Stormy says that she's going to respect his decision about this, and hopefully everything is good because Stormy had a problem with firing people, and now she's gotten a lot more tougher within the business, even though you've been a clay to be since you were 5 years old, according to you. I'm going to say I'm happy Junior's back. I need Junior on my screen for selfish purposes. I need him. I need to see him. He is fine. And that's the end of that. Martell. He finally has found property of his own to move into. He's got 5 bedrooms after taking advantage of Chris all of this time. Okay, so he's moving in. His brother is helping him and all that good stuff. I guess he's about to have what he called eye surgery. He says that he's going to get the puffiness from out beneath his eyes. Like I don't even think he's 40 yet. And you want to get that type of surgery? For what? Are you trying to hit on some type of 22-year-old, sir? I mean, do what needs to be done. Get the eye cream and all that good stuff. But he says that he's going to be out of commission. He won't be able to work out or lift anything. For something on your face? Are you about to get a whole face transplant? What is going on here? I remember somebody was saying something where they felt like something was wrong with his face. But that was already done a few episodes ago. Because I was like, oh, well, it seems like that's just allergies. I think that was part A of season 5. But I was like, I don't think he did anything to his face, but I guess he did do something to his face. But anyways, he calls Chris and puts his phone up and says, "I moved." And he's like, "Finally, got up out of there." Chris turns the subject, or as far as the phone conversation, into, "You had this call with my wife. Why would you talk to my wife like that?" Martell in his confessional was like, "Chris knows that me and his wife have tempers. I'm sure that he's calling to just appease his wife, basically. And I could expect that, but it wasn't all that serious." We see in the next episode they confront each other about it, and then now he's trying to be all Martell, if you've seen the previews for next week. But anyway, so we move on to Mel. Mel is with her friend, I believe it's Brittany. They've known each other for a very long time. They were even college roommates. Mel asked, "Why weren't you at my ceremony?" And she said that she had her niece's birthday party. And then you see Nell grilling her because she's like, "I don't even understand why you weren't there. You were there during my marriage, even my divorce, and now you weren't here for this." Da 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 da. And I felt like in that moment, Mel, you're melling. You have enough family there, which you only said was like 20 people gonna be there. It seemed like a whole church congregation was there, in my opinion. I wasn't there. Don't know how many seats were there. But where's Marcus? Marcus has had head-on collisions with your ex-husband. Where was he at? Are you gonna question him? Like, that seems very weird. It was the niece's 16th birthday. We know how precious that is for teenagers. I'll say it that way. I'm not gonna call them women, but I'll just call them young girls into women. It's special. But you're saying, well, where were you? In Atlanta. Da, 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 da. No. So they continue their conversation and switch it over to, well, maybe you can be a part of me choosing the next guy. And they go through all these requirements. Mel doesn't really have patience for anything. She's within an instant able to block you and all this good stuff. If you are just not the person, if you want some ish, as far as how she feels. So she ends up giving some college qualifications. He has to be tall, at least 6'2" or 6'3", I think it was, and have to has her love language, which is top for her, is one of her top love languages are the top one. Is touch. You got to do all that. Da, 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 da. Mel goes on to say how touchy-feely she is with Brittany and all that good stuff. So that was the end of that scene. We go back to Chris and Nell. They are at her business, which is daycare. Chris is bringing stuff over, and Nell says, "We got to talk." Da, 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 da. And Chris says, "Okay, just a minute. I wonder what I'm getting into." You should know with the cameras rolling. So he's in his suit. He just closed on another house. So she starts talking about the children. She feels drained. As far as with her children, Chris Jr., she tried calling, and even texting, and obviously she knows that Chris Jr. is pissed at her, and she doesn't really understand. Again, she does feel drained. She feels like she gets the short end of the stick, even in being mother to them. Chris basically says, from the feedback that I get and what you even heard at the dinner table, is that you're not the easiest person to talk to. Like, Nell will go on 10 right away as soon as you come to her with a problem, and Chris is there to talk through and to be understanding and work through the problem. And Nell says, you are you and I am me. I'm not apologizing for who I am. And I think Nell is at a place in her life where she doesn't take the BS, and I think that at some point she was more like Chris, and how she handled the children, and she still was being taken advantage of. They do feel like the children are spoiled. They gave too much, and they're trying to come up with the place to where they can get the children to a place where they are more mature, and they can handle a lot more things independently. They will never stop being their parents, and nobody should ever stop. That whole kick you out at 18 and you go figure it out is one of the dumbest things that I've ever heard from parents. That is so irresponsible. They are still children, and you don't even prepare them. You just say by 18 you got to get out of here, and that's crazy. By 18 you better have a college scholarship. When you get done, you better be ready and going. That's not a good parent. I'm sorry. No, I don't have children, but I know what it's like to be on the child's end of things, and we got to quit repeating cycles that happen because your parents did it. Oh, I had to learn. Well, did you like that? You can't even thank your parents for it because they just threw you out. But for some reason, the elder generation says that you still got to thank them for something that they didn't really do, but just pushed you out of the nest with no type of landing, no type of preparation, and think that they really did something. No. She says that when the children want to borrow something, Chris gets his money back, but it takes 2 to 3 years for them to try to pay her back. And it's like, in the real world, even in paying back, you should be getting interest, and I don't even do that for them. But they get attitudes and all that. Nell feels like the things that they come to her is like, you're just stupid. It's so many words. I'm paraphrasing. Like, I told you not to do that, and then you did that, and now you're gonna come back. So I am gonna go off. And Chris says it's understandable. So it's gonna be interesting. They're actually now thinking that they got to have family counseling. They did talk about Lexi again. So I think that's good for them. Let's do it. We got a scene right here that's really insignificant to me. Kiki comes to Stormy's, and Tiffany's going to be following up behind her, of course. Stormy's asking how are things with her and Tisha. They haven't talked to each other, and I don't have anything to say. That relationship is dead, so let us just keep it dead. Kiki just feels like she didn't do anything wrong, and maybe you think you didn't. She told you to stay out of her marriage. She told you to stay out, and you said that you were. There are rumors that Stormy is involved, but they're not letting onto it if it is true. So I don't know if the gossip is true concerning that. I guess we got to learn at the reunion how Stormy is involved. We're saying that Stormy is the one that told Kiki as to what was going on. That's what the word on the street is. But as of yet, nothing. She also feels concerning. Oh, let me talk about this. Of course, Kiki comes in and she's sweating and all that. She says that it's due to methadone. She did say that with her husband, and also a time that she was with Tisha about the methadone. What I found kind of is when she started talking about she wished she had known about the methadone. I thought it was, she said some years ago, but she might have said a long time ago. Either way, I got questions, Kiki. Every time you open your mouth, I got a new question, and I still love you. But if it was a long time ago, so when was your last relapse then? The question's got to be asked, because what you're saying doesn't really add up. If you've been clean for so long, you're doing this outpatient therapy of methadone. I don't know when. But when's the last time you took some pills or whatever? Because I don't think that it's been that long ago. That's my opinion. Because you're telling the story, and I'm trying to understand it. So they get on Tiffany, and they feel like she feels like Tiffany somehow is coming for me and trying to twist it up and say that I'm coming for her. And that's not true. You're making up lies. And they start talking about the Carlos interview. Again, there was nothing there that really, if you want to take personal, I don't know why you are, but whatever. You were going to go guns a-blazing at the picnic, which was, or the barbecue, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just really like, I'm sorry. These interviews are supposed to be messy. But she said that Tiffany was telling lies. Anybody could tell that Kiki was not climbing no fence to get into a game. Tiffany was, if you want to call it lying, but obviously she was making a joke. So if she wants to react to that, that is so crazy. Whatever. But since Stormy is co-signing it, it makes it true, but it's not. Whatever. So Tiffany comes in, and of course Kiki said, oh, she brought her baby. When has she not been without her baby? Giving y'all on the timeline. When have you seen Tiffany without her baby? I think the only time is when she came to the baby reveal, and she didn't have him up front. But when it was time to film the group scene, she had the baby with her. That's all I do have. Welcome to the Fletchers. I'm excited to see what you do bring. We still need Tiffany, and even though y'all trying to say replace her, because at the same time, why do we have Kiki here? Because all she is in her cousin's mess. She's brought nothing new. We've seen this last season. She brought a more feistier side this season. But please tell me what you think. Please like this video. Also share it. And again, please subscribe to this channel. Until the next one, peace.